Good evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and transgendered species. It's fantastic to be here this evening, and a very warm welcome to you from Let's Talk Drag. We're beaming to you this evening with some higher quality programming. This evening we are going to put forward two of the finest episodes of Star Trek.
Plus ça change.
In a perpetual fight, really. And somehow we're going to defend them. Be interesting. So how's your week been, James? How are you?
Well, I've had a tremendously busy week. I went to the Midlands, to a place called Daventry, and I was on a residential training course. And would you like to know the most fascinating thing I learned on my training course?
Go on.
Well, I'll put it to you as a question. Who invented methadone, when, and for what reason?
I counter argument with you with, do you know why Sabutio is called Sabutio? And if Carl can answer either of those questions, he wins a prize. Good evening, Carl.
Good evening, Carl.
Yeah, context is king, and I have none.
No context. No. The days of context
Good evening,
are long gone.
Please excuse my tardiness. It's obviously not done me a favour this evening.
How the devil are you, Carl?
I'm very well, thank you, gents. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Yeah. We've just been discussing what we've been up to this week. James has been on a course.
It includes Sabutio and what? Sorry, James?
No, my course didn't involve Sabutio. Well, the answer to my question, Richard, is this. Methadone was invented by the Nazis. And it was invented because they thought there was going to be a shortage of morphine during the unpleasantness, which is particularly relevant today, it being Remembrance Sunday. But it was originally called Adolphine. There you go. That's a fascinating fact I learned on my course.
Well, the fascinating thing about Sabutio is the fact that the Greeks called they had a buzzard, and the smaller version of a buzzard was called a hobby. And the Latin for it was a subutio. Sub buzzard, and when they tried to patent Sabutio, they wanted to call it the hobby, and that was denied because that was already taken up. So they called it Sabutio and said the Latin for us the hobby bird. So there we are. Aren't you glad you tuned in this week? Hello, everybody. Right, so what?
I feel like I need to come up with some sort of interesting story.
What ho, Christoph? How you doing, buddy? Hey, Vicky. How you doing?
Hello.
Mark, hey Mark, hey, how was London Film and Comic Con? We had a roving reporter there, but he's not checked in. So, Adam, how you doing, buddy? I love that profile picture because that's got everything.
Adam, let me know if this has arrived. Have your badges arrived? They should have by now.
Adam's picture there. It's got the transporter control panel. It's got the engineer. No, it's not the engineering. Yes, it is the engineering.
That's our transporter pad there. He's on and the transporter panel. Yeah.
And it's got Adam in it, which is great, and the phaser. Martin, how you doing, buddy? Megan, our roving reporter, how was Winter Film and Comic Con?
Did Sir Derek Jacobi turn up in the Ninky Nonk?
The what?
Have you? Well, your children are too old for this.
No.
There's something called In the Night.
No, let's not go there.
Which, if you have children, is narrated by Sir Derek Jacobi, and he goes,
Hey,
no, it's the Ninky Nonk."
Never was a truer word spoken.
Charlotte, hey Charlotte, how you doing? Daniel, how you doing, buddy?
That's a hilarious picture.
Kevin Hightower Baker, how you doing, buddy? Hey Ruth, how are you?
Hi, Ruth.
Roy's got his badge.
Excellent, pleased it's arrived, Roy. Hope you're happy with it.
Did you get the real one? So James, would you like to show them your badge?
Yes, I'll have to take it off the magnetic backing, but
yeah,
there it is.
Thing of beauty.
And here's my knockoff one, which you can get for just £1.
Oh, well, the magnet. There you go. Look, the magnet just stayed in place behind my top.
Oh, Richard,
Mine
did you
was never
accidentally order
magnet.
yours from Wish?
Yeah, mine's the Wish version. Jenny, the more I look at it, the more I actually think that looks pretty good. Actually, I've done a pretty good job.
So anyone who still wants the Rikers Beard badge, plenty left. I do need to get the cash in because I do need to spend some pretty serious money at the end of this month. So yes, looking to sell a few. If you want one, 20 quid donation, and it comes to you anywhere in the UK.
Mark, it was okay. Wasn't busy though. Did see Dan briefly. Exhausting but fun on the way home. Safe journey home, my darling. Hey, buddy.
This was at Olympia, wasn't it? LFCC, Winter LFCC.
And yeah, Mark got his badge.
Excellent.
Badge is right. Everyone basically saying how wonderful that the badges are. So yeah.
Yeah. Pleased everyone who has one has enjoyed it so far.
So I had some fun today. I went to go and see the Hans Zimmer concert, Dreamland. Well, it's John Williams and Mark Zimmer concert from the London Film Orchestra, and yeah, it was a wonderful evening of music. And as I was just saying, James, before the show started, I opted for the cheap seats. I was going on my own, but sadly, Dreamland, in their organizational skills, had oversold the VIP section. So I was asked to vacate my seat and stand at the bar so someone from VIP could take my seat. Talk about wrong person. The short of it was that I suggested that they leave me alone and move along.
Yes.
How on earth did they expect to move me? I mean, the staff there are millennials. Good God. It wasn't going to happen. Run along now. Let me enjoy the show.
That sounds like the perfect moment to utter the words, that very much sounds like a you problem, not a me problem.
It was literally a case of how on earth are you going to move me? What are you going to say? I'm in your safe space or some shit? I mean, but attempt to move me. Trust me, it will make my evening. That will be hilarious. Slotty millennial pretending to be a security guard in the high vis vest.
Was he like the guy off The Simpsons? Like, oh no!
It was literally.
Excuse me, sir.
And the embarrassed VIP standing behind him, trying not to look aggressive. Sorry, James, we dropped you briefly.
Hello, boys. I don't know what's happened here, but I've completely lost sound.
Oh, no, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, there we are. It's back on. Sorry. Must have fiddled with something.
So interesting. This week I've been learning sign language.
Ooh.
So I already know sign language.
I know some gestures.
I a deaf and blind, so I know the deaf blind manual, which is like like spelling in magazines. But it would appear that, despite me putting my foot down, my family is shortly going to be adopting a deaf dog. So I've had to learn now dog sign language.
I was about to say, I don't think it'll recognise normal sign language.
And here's the funny thing.
So how do you call the dog to come back if it's run away?
Said, what we're going to call him? I said, we can't change his name. So he's not going to know what his name is. He's deaf. I'm like, we'll call him what you want.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Maybe you have to have a very long lead.
Here, boy. Oh no. Wait. Oh.
Well, he can't be let off his lead. Is the right? Okay. So should we move on? We've said hellos to everybody. Should we move on? I think we probably should move on to, first of all, some breaking news. Where's the news sting? Hang on. That's not
there
it.
Somewhere.
It's there. Here we are. So this week's we've got some rather breaking and poignant news with regard to the future of Let's Talk Trek, which is something we need to bring up sooner rather than later. And James has prepared something which he's going to read for us now.
I have.
Shuffle your papers professionally, James.
No, the pre-prepared speech is not available. No, the fact is with Let's Talk Trek, sadly, not all of us can be here as often as we would like. And as a result of that, Let's Talk Trek in its current incarnation will cease this evening and will henceforth move forward on the basis of occasional specials where we can get together, whereas Richard and I will continue at some point to revive the Riker's Beard program, on which our colleagues Dan and Carl can join us whenever they wish, but we'll more likely be doing that at some alternate time, which we haven't yet decided on, or it might be the same time, but we'll be moving that forward as a different project, and Let's Talk Trek will carry on as a unique entity, but just less regularly, if that makes sense.
I think at this point I'd like to say a couple of words that I haven't prepared. This Let's Talk Trek was the brainchild of Dan Mason, and his idea was to try and have some focus to bring us all together during the times of lockdown and COVID. And I would say, just from my personal perspective, it's a rip-roaring success. Dan really did bring us all together. It was a wonderful idea, and the love and the feedback we got, even now, but especially when we first did it, when people had nothing to look forward to apart from reruns of stuff.
Don't forget the abuse. We welcome that too.
It was a reason for everyone to get together every week, and it was a wonderful. It really was the most splendid idea that Dan had, and we never imagined it would still be here 4 years later. Let's be honest. Every week, and the amount of people that have tuned in to watch it, and still do tune in to watch it every week. It's humbling, genuinely humbling. But it's one of those things where I think we've enjoyed it. I hope you've all enjoyed it so much that you'll continue to join us as and when we can. Quite similar to kind of the Top Gear specials. We would love to continue doing this show if we can all get together. You know, if there can be all four of us together again, we'll do maybe for premieres or watch-alongs or something. But for the time being, the Let's Talk Trek in its current format, it as Rashida said, it's frozen.
Being rested.
Yeah, that's the support and love we've been shown, and honestly, can't even begin to say, you know, built off the back of Dan's idea and his enthusiasm and his drive to get this going. But it's one of those things. James and I are intending to continue to do a show on the Riker's Beard platform. We haven't decided exactly what that's going to be yet. It probably won't be quite as, what's the word I'm looking for here, James? Vanilla PC? I don't know.
Well, don't forget Riker's Beard After Dark.
Riker's Beard Noir is going to be the theme that I think we're going to be going down. So, yeah. So there we are. But a sincere thank you to Dan, who is not here, but a sincere thank you to you, Carl, and a sincere thank you to you, James, because at no point have I not enjoyed doing this show every week.
It is tremendous fun. It's just a shame it's not always the four of us as it used to be. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for my part in it, I'd like to say, I mean, you know, as much as I knew both of you chaps before we started doing the show, but you know, the idea of this show, like you've rightly said, was to help during a time where people couldn't connect, for everyone to connect even more so. And the show, in fact, helped bring me closer to you guys, which, you know, like I say, we'd met up a few times and I knew of you and we'd chatted here and there, but I certainly didn't know you as well as I do now. And I've consider you some of my closest friends, you know, and therefore, as far as I'm concerned, from a personal point of view, this show achieved absolutely what it set out to intend to do. And I hope it's done that for other people as well.
Yeah, I mean, I especially at the last Star Trek convention we're at in Birmingham, I was quite humbled by the amount of people that came up to me and said, I just really want to thank you, because if it wasn't for your show, I never would have watched Ted Lasso. And I just thought that was beautiful. I really, it warmed my heart. You know, it really did.
And also, people may not have become aware of giant Wotsits, but, you know, this evening I'm going to be sampling this big bag of flaming hot giant Wotsits.
You got the flaming hots. I mean, they're a different meal to a prawn cocktail.
I was going to say, have you got clearance to try this new flavour?
Have you had a go on one yet?
Oh, yeah, I've had these before. They're lovely.
So, flaming hot or prawn cocktail?
I still think prawn cocktail is the best of the flavours.
The prawn cocktail does feel like you've gone out for a meal at the Hungry Horse, doesn't it?
Actually, ironically, they cost almost as much as a meal at the Hungry Horse.
Yeah. But that's our breaking news. Anyway, on to this week's feature. It's kind of like a.
You know, there is some other news, Richard. While we're still on the news, came down the wires today. The director Robert Butler, who directed the very first pilot episode of Star Trek The Cage, that's the one with Christopher Pike in, passed away at the age of 95. That news has come on the wires today, so that's sad news.
That's sad. Someone's died.
Well, someone very significant to our subject matter.
Yes.
The director of the very, very first episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see? I think there was on one of the Facebook groups this week, just connected to The Cage. Someone was trying to sell a box. I think it was a VHS of a recording of The Cage, but they were asking for an astronomical amount of money. But it was signed by William Shatner, who wasn't even in the episode.
He'll sign anything for a fee, Carl.
It's fake.
You know what? That is quite poignant, though, because even now that first effort, that source material is still being used now in Strange New Worlds. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do this, but hey, look, here we go. Right. Okay, Tommy Robinson, we don't believe that's your profile picture. Okay, so we're not falling for it, Tommy Robinson. Go and do one. If that is your real name. But yeah, it's fascinating that I mean the chap 94 he's passed away now, and it's sad, but the source material is still being used now, and it's still very relevant in Star Trek because of Strange New Worlds. Goes to show the lasting legacy that it's had. It's fantastic. It's a wonderful. It's fantastic. Okay, so over the years, I mean, we were going to do like a best of montage of Let's Talk
We
Trek,
couldn't be bothered.
So many great moments.
We couldn't find a great moment. I did actually go in the loft and I located my Spock helmet. I stupidly came down from the loft without it, and I left it up there, and I'm not going to go and get it now. I've had a glass of wine.
And if you watching us have bought one of these because you've seen them sitting behind us, we're sorry about that.
Yeah. There's been so many great moments. Do you remember the time we had Tony? I didn't tell any of you guys, and we had Tony Leon in a COVID mask, pretending to be Steve Gutenberg with his police, and none of you guys knew. I said, Tony, do you fancy coming on the show? I said, yeah. I said, could you do me a favour and pretend to be Steve Gutenberg? He said, why? No, he didn't. He said, okay. He said, I've got a New York policeman's hat. It'll be brilliant. I said, he didn't even ask.
Just such an occasion.
He said, and who could forget Armus appearing as well?
Oh, yeah.
It was brilliant. Oh, it's fantastic. And what was the other one we had as well? We had the sexy ghost as well. Do you remember we had the sexy ghost come on? Oh, that was amazing. That was fantastic. But I think of all the features that we've done, I think the fan favourite has always been Choose Your Choose. And I remember.
Why is there a dinosaur?
This is it. So I came up with Choose Your, and it was my idea. I came up with Choose Your Choose, and as I do with many things, I test it first on my brother, and I played my brother the Sting, and he said, I don't get it. That's a really bad idea. I went, what? You don't get it at all? He said, no, I don't get it. I said, perfect. Exactly what I wanted to hear. And thus a legend was born. So what's your name and where do you come from?
Luke from Margate.
And what is best? Star Trek or Star Wars?
I actually prefer Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh my goodness me, that's amazing.
Gosh, yes, the fun we've had wandering around conventions asking people questions to get some footage for that.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun. But this week,
people do tell us in the comments the features you have enjoyed, lest we bring them back at some point in some form.
What I really miss, I've got to be honest, what I really miss, and I think we should put him on the spot with this because he's bound to have some lying around on one of his shelves there somewhere, is the old booze reviews from Muse. Do you think, James,
I missed that.
If I sort of like throw my feature in, do you reckon that would give you time to quickly knock something together just for the hell of it? Let's try and get James drunk, people.
Stampty stamp.
Oh, yeah.
I might be able to knock something. I'm going to need 2 or 3 minutes.
Oh, I can do that.
Okay, right. Hang on. I'll close the camera down.
Crikey, he really does need time to prepare, doesn't he? Well, hang on, Richard. If I grab a collectible, could you find the Sting? The collectible?
Yeah. What do you want, your one or James's one?
Either. Just pick comedy value.
I quite like James's one, but it's not as long.
I'll find something to do. Oh my God, I'm destroying my man cave. What's going on?
Let's do it again.
Okay, I'm a little more composed now. Hang on. Let's do this classic style. Let's move me to there, and then we'll do this with James as well, because he loves being like big and in the middle. So this week,
like a blind man at an orgy, he was going to have to feel things out.
Feel my way around. So this week, dear viewer, I'm going to show you. Well, I've just grabbed a couple of bits actually. So this first thing I'm going to show you. Well, in fact, both things that I may show you were birthday gifts. I had some wonderful, wonderful birthday gifts this year. As I've hang on, it's reversed, isn't it? So as you can see here, this was my gift from Richard, which was absolutely outstanding. I've already shown this one to you, and it's now got a pride of place on my shelf there.
Well, have you? That looks really nice on your shelf.
And I'm planning on. I'm planning on sort of like rejigging the shelving. I want to get. Have you seen the trend of putting these like backgrounds on shelves and stuff? Not just the lighting, but the actual like background scenes.
That wasn't intentional at all, but that's the perfect size, isn't it? That's absolutely spot on.
It's absolutely
really good. No, it was intentional. I snuck round into your flat while you were out, and your wife let me measure your shelf gap.
So this week, what I'm going to show is this was off our inspirational originator Dan. So this was my gift off him this year, which I need to get framed and put into the man cave here. This is
wow,
a print he got me, and it's actually from a local artist. Well, local to me and Dan. He's a Manchester-based artist. Which, there we go. We can get a full view of that now. And it's a chap called Stanley Chow. You can look his art up on the internet. He helped compile. He did a couple of these pieces of artwork for the 50th anniversary of Trek, where they compiled several artists to do these things. And you can get prints of his work from his website, depending on which ones you want. He did some original series ones. I think he did some TNG ones as well. I'm not sure if he did any of the other franchise series. But yeah, they're absolutely stunning. And in a nice frame, put somewhere in the man cave, I can really see it being a nice centerpiece on one of the walls. But yeah, they range from, let's see, I think from when I did a bit of research on it, ranged from around, well, I think it was about 1,500 pence.
Personally, I absolutely adore those kind of 60s style.
Yeah, up to about 7,000 pence, I think it was. About 1,500 up to about 7,000 pence, I think they were sort of like going for, depending on which one you chose.
Those,
I mean, value aside, it's lovely.
No, those 60s style Art Deco pieces, the artwork, I find them absolutely adorable myself. I think they're fantastic, which is weird because I know you guys are like them. I can't stand the Funko Pops, and this is basically what the Funko Pops are based on. But I love, yeah, I know you love them, but that's the Art Deco style. I don't like the Funko Pops, but I love that artwork. So
yeah,
wonderful.
No, it is nice. And then the other piece I was going to show, just to give James enough time to finish off his prep work there, was just another little plaque that I've got to stick up in my man cave. This one's off my friend Amelia. So this one was just a nice little Elcar's man cave plaque.
Does that backlight, Paul?
Sorry?
Does it backlight at all? That looks fantastic.
No, it's actually a metal plate.
Oh, wow. Metal. Brilliant.
So, yeah, I'm yet to decide. I tend to have it just pinned up there by the cat currently. But yeah, I need to find a real home for it. I'm tempted to put it on the outside of my man cave door just so that everyone knows when they're on the way in. It's a man cave, and this is the theme you're walking into. Be prepared.
As you chaps know, I'm a fan of more of anything else, anything that's individual, anything that's unique, you know, and that's lovely. That's fantastic. It's a nice present.
Well, there we go.
So, James.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
That's what I've missed. That theme tune.
What we're going to need. Oh, hello, Dan. What we're going to need for what I'm going to call the Leutnant Gruber is one cocktail glass. One. Ooh, careful with this. This is tequila. Ooh.
One very careful measure.
And of course some balls. So we'll have just a little dribble of balls. Steady.
Easy.
There we go. Right. That's looking pretty fantastic so far. Oops, right. I've raided my daughter's sweet cupboard, and here is one chocolate coin. Right,
my lord.
And here is the secret magic ingredient. Right. So, careful with this. Right. There we go.
Which bowls, James? Which bowls?
Banana.
Bowls banana.
Right. And then we're going to have to go to... Now, the problem with this is you have to now irradiate it. So bear with me. Okay. Right. Here we go. Irradiating. Oh! Oh! Look at that. It's radioactive. Look.
I feel like it's the motion picture.
Right. Yeah, that's an acquired taste. So that oh god, that's awful. That is the Lieutenant Gruber.
That's the Gruber.
That is the Gruber, Lieutenant Gruber. We go back to normal lights. There we go. Oh.
Dan,
Oh.
Dan, how was Winter Film and Comic Con?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Yeah, I thought I'd put in a very quick appearance as it's the last show.
It's not the last
current
show.
weekly show.
It's the last show in its current format. Similar to Top Gear.
So we're going. So we're going Grand Tour. What is this for?
Well,
Yeah, basically, the next time we come back, we'll have each spent £300 on a car, and we'll be driving them across Eastern Europe.
that's actually not beyond the realms of possibility. I've still got that road trip to Spain.
I think it's actually a bloody good idea.
Yeah, it's so if I can't remember if I've been drunk and talked about this in the show before, but basically there's a load of cash sitting in a safe in Spain I've got to go and collect. This is not a one-off. I do have. I've got to drive to Rojales in Spain and go and pick up a load of cash. So, if anyone's up for this, could be a quite the interesting road trip. It's probably cheaper to fly there on Ryanair. Maybe not safer.
But not half
Where's
as
the
much
fun
fun.
they're going to be in that?
Exactly. I think if we rent what do they call them? An RV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, rent like a big RV.
What's going to happen, Richard? is
It'd end up being like that
car,
Gordon,
and Dan and Cole will
Gino.
use
Hey,
trebuchet.
whoa. This is what happens when Dan's not hosting. Everyone's talking at once. Carl, you go first.
I was just going to say we'd end up doing like the don't look at James's face. No, I was just going to say we'd end up looking like one of that Gino, Fred, and Gordon road trip holiday things.
That would be more than the Top Gear, wouldn't it? Definitely. And I'm not Gino D'Acampo. I'm having that now, right? To be fair, I think you've got to be Gordon Ramsay, Carl.
Take it every day of the week. I'd take it.
So, tell us how did you get on with how did you get on at Winter Film and Comic Con, Dan?
It was good.
Highlights, and as always, highlights and low points.
Low points.
Coming home.
Nothing in the actual convention, but it was obviously a very challenging weekend in London. Which, although it didn't affect the convention, you could tell there was a bit of added tension, if that made sense. Yeah.
Just out of interest, sorry to interrupt. With the strikes now being done, dusted, and settled, and everything, were they actually allowed to talk about what they're doing?
They were indeed, yes.
Woo! Normality.
In fact, that's quite interesting. I mean, I don't know how much you guys want to know about this, but that was quite an interesting thing because the strike was settled on the Wednesday. Well, yeah. And the organisers went onto the strike website to check that everything was fine and clear. 2 minutes after they announced that the strike was clear, the SAG strike website was reading 404 error not found. So they literally just took the website offline. That's it, done. They were saying, though, there was actors saying that apparently productions are getting back up and running within 2 weeks. There is obviously you have to recall several hundred crew members and cast and caterers and all that stuff. But yeah, it's all we up and running. There's a bit of a backlog of stuff. Some productions and stuff won't start now until after Christmas because of the proximity. But yeah, we should see some good stuff coming out next year.
So obviously the big thing we're hoping that you found out through your connections at Comic-Con, etc., that we're all waiting with bated breath to hear is when will Discovery Season 5 actually air?
I do not know.
Well, the disappointment is palpable.
So, as regular viewers will remember, every week now I blackmail my children into staying later up at night if they agree to watch some Star Trek. And I started them off with Voyager, which works very well. They've been watching Picard. I've been making them watch some episodes of Lower Decks. They really enjoy Lower Decks. I've been making them watch whenever we get a Lower Decks episode that's relevant to an episode of TNG. We then obviously have to watch, that episode of
every Easter egg.
Yeah, well, the finale of this season's Lower Decks definitely, because we had obviously Ceto Jax and because we watched Voyager, obviously we watched the TNG episode. It's like, oh my god, that's Tom Paris. Why are they calling him? I forgot the character's name now. Dominic.
Nick Locarno.
Nick Locarno.
Yeah. Nothing like.
I don't see it myself. Do you?
No, I don't see it. But my kids saw it straight away.
Got the same face.
He looks so young. Yeah, so and I've said to them, look, there's so much they're like, oh, did Voyager get home? So we're in the final season now. Like, you're gonna have to watch and find out. Oh, we finished watching this. What we're going to watch? I said, well, after this, we'll watch Enterprise. You can watch it in HD because kids don't like watching. Okay. After that, we're going to watch DS9. After that, hopefully, we'll be out properly in HD by then. And after that, what we're going to watch? So then we'll watch TNG. Discovery's not come up.
I find that hard
they haven't
to
seen
believe.
it. I mean, how are they going to judge it?
It's not come up.
I mean, I the only thing I'd probably interject is it worth doing TNG first because it does relate to bits of DS9, for instance.
It's difficult because you have to get the reason I introduced them to Voyager, and I didn't introduce them to season 1 or 2 of Voyager. I introduced them from Scorpion. Okay,
Rightly
because
so.
my lad is 12, so yeah. Dirty tactics, if you will.
If that's not a producer talking, I don't know what is.
but it worked. They both love Voyager. I mean, my daughter adores it so much. She loves the character Neelix.
Sorry, we just got it here. Executive producer Rick Berman has possessed the body of Richard Ashby.
But my daughter loves it so much, and she loves the character Neelix. And I'm
really
on the bust and everything I did for her, and we watched. I made them watch. I forgot what it's called now. Call of Duty, something I don't know. But the episode with Will Crusher and Red Squad doing the burst and the Locarno, and straight away they both went, oh, "That's Boothby from Voyager. That's 8472. That's Booth." They straight away picked up Paris from Voyager. Oh my god, and they're loving it. They're loving the little kind of Easter eggs, bits that they're mapping the universe in together. And my daughter said it was good, but there wasn't enough Neelix. That's generally what she said. It was good. It wasn't enough Neelix.
Needs more Neelix. That's something I
Needs
never
more
thought I'd hear anyone say.
That's never a phrase I've heard uttered. But
but it's fantastic. I mean, Dan, you sent us the link to obtain the HD remux of DS9, and do you know, rewatching it now, I think we might have to do it as a feature one week. I think I've seen the most awkward scene in Star Trek I've seen in my entire life, and that's in Emissary
Part. Along home, isn't it?
No, it's just worse. Emissary Part 1. If you're on a personal computer now with access to the YouTube, please do look at the scene where Picard says goodbye to O'Brien in Emissary, because it's just one of the most awkward things I've seen in my entire life. This always was your favorite one. Oh yes, Transporter Room 3. it's just it's one of the most awkward, awful scenes in Star Trek. Like worse than anything even in Discovery. It's that bad. I'm gonna download. We'll have it as a feature. So we're gonna Yep. I mean, this is not like Bilbo Baggins. This is not the end. This is purely just the end of the current format of doing it every week. That's all it is. No, it's not. TNG is the best, but we appreciate your comments. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you saw, for all the viewers, Prodigy will be full season dropped on Christmas Day on Netflix.
Oh, wow, they've made it already.
No, season 1.
Season 1.
Oh,
so I'm confused. Did season 2 get a release at all, or was it in?
It's getting a release next year, or I think it's supposed to be the late next year. Hang on, Christoph just put something about this. Let me scroll the comments.
Is it this comment here?
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's the one. Prodigy season. Oh, so same Prodigy season 2 should be 2024. Yeah, I was going to say it was either supposed to be late 24 or early 25 now, but yeah, I'll take Christoph on that. Hopefully it's late 24. So, but yeah, that'll be dropping on Netflix as well.
And what about Star Trek Legacy, Carl? What can you update us on that?
Sorry, what's Star
I'd
Trek
love
Legacy?
to see it.
Legacy is the sort of notional name people have given to wanting the Picard story to continue, probably with Seven captaining the Enterprise G.
Well, I think Richard may be able to give us something on that.
So
as he's finished Patrick Stewart's book and we haven't yet.
Everyone who's finished reading Patrick Stewart's book, please put their hand up. Right, so I can't really.
We're not starting yet.
It's so close.
I can't really give spoilers. But there's only one way it's going to happen. I really hope it does. I think it's a good idea. I think possibly so someone today, a friend we met at the last convention, commented on the new Frasier series having too much input from Frasier, a bit like Patrick Stewart's had too much input on Picard. I'd respectfully disagree with that. I think Patrick Stewart had too much influence on the character of Picard. Yes, 100%. But the stories they built around him, I thought were actually pretty fabulous. I think that I really enjoyed them, and the idea behind continuing the Picard legacy, the only format which Picard says he's interested in doing, I think is going to work. I really hope they do it. But it's only going to happen one way. So I don't want to give anything away if you haven't read the book, so I'll stum now.
We have been spoiled this year, though, haven't we, lads? Because Picard season 3 was so epic.
Oh, it was stunning.
I don't even contemplate going back and looking at seasons 1 and 2, because season 3 was so good that I would just watch that again and again and again.
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, I rewatched the first episode of Picard tonight with my family because Star Trek night. Watch a episode before we go to bed, and it was my daughter's choice, and she said I want to, because they've seen season 3 of Picard, not seen season 1 or 2. And she said I want to watch the first season. I want to see episode 1 of Picard. I said it's a very complicated plot, even I can't now figure it out. But I watched the first episode, and oh my god, the parallel. I mean, and again, the time of year is very poignant with Dunkirk and everything. It was absolutely fabulous to watch with them, and they both thoroughly enjoyed it. And it is an interesting story. Is it overly complicated? Yes. I think it probably is. Am I enjoying it the second time round more because it's overly complicated? Yes. So it's for me, it's the gift that's giving twice because it was complicated. So if you only watched Picard once and found it too complicated, watch it again because you'll like it more the second time round.
Unless, of course, you're Christoph, because you'll say this.
Look, as we all leap to his defence. So
all I
We're
can
always very clear.
add
People
to this
agree to
is
enjoy what they like, and what they don't like, they don't have to watch.
all I can sort of add to this is that Marina doesn't seem optimistic. So
That was presumably asked of her on stage, Dan.
yes,
we're talking about a continuation of Picard here, not about Tottenham's chances of finishing the top 4.
Well, the thing is, surely she would have to say that so that the sort of like oomph and hurrah when it gets announced is even more so. So of course they're all going to deny it right now.
I think one of the bigger issues was that she doesn't want to go back to America. So I think if it would continue, it wouldn't be with her at the moment, or it would be in a very limited fashion.
The amount of them that have said that over the years and it's happened, I wouldn't take that with any sort of...
With the greatest respect to Marina, and I don't mean this as an insult, after meeting her, I genuinely have appreciated how good an actress she is. I think that her character is not going to play any role that's significant enough for it to affect anything that's going to happen with the future. So I wouldn't worry about it.
Fair.
She's a great bridging character. You know, she was in a couple of episodes of Voyager and everything. She tightened Enterprise, ties things together nicely, and I do generally think she's a really good actress. Oh, you should see her in the Debt Collectors with Scott Adkins. She's brilliant. She's really good. If you don't watch B-movie martial arts films, you won't know what I'm talking about, but it's really good. Watch The Debt Collectors too. Marina Sirtis plays kind of like a pimp in it. She's like a baddie. She's brilliant. She's really sinister. It's really good. Yes, I wouldn't worry too much about her lasting Star Trek legacy. As good as she is.
Yeah.
Now, we promised a few minutes ago we would have a final choose where James and I have watched,
The
I think,
ultimate
possibly
Battle Royale you've chosen this
a
week.
Battle Royale. So, let's,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's the T-Rex or the ballerinas that confuse me more.
If you're confused, Carl, you're probably on the wrong show. Now, this week, James and I have chosen two absolute pinnacles of Star Trek perfection. James will be defending one. I should be defending the other. Only one can win.
I'm not sure I can do that. No, I can't miss it. It's morbid curiosity. I can't miss it.
So, James, would you like to submit your defense? Well, James, you are submitting your defense first.
Right. So the way.
How do I put you?
Just to be clear, we're going to make the case for our respective episodes, and the voting audience are deciding based on
vote.
They can only save one. They're going to
You
crash
vote for
on
the one you want to keep.
What's going on here?
You're putting your defense forward, so I made you big.
Yeah. The vote for the one you want to keep.
Yeah.
Okay, not the one you want to go.
So you're going to crash on a desert planet. You can only have one episode to keep you company, and you have to choose from these two utter turkeys.
At the end of time.
I'm speaking about the Voyager episode Threshold, which appears in the second season. And for those of you who don't remember, the broad strokes of the plot are that Tom Paris has managed to outfit a shuttle so that it can exceed warp 10. Which is astonishing. Now, they can't make Voyager go warp 10, but he can find a way to make a shuttle go warp 10. They never actually explain how it is they've achieved this and how he, a disgraced, cashiered out of the academy pilot, suddenly has the engineering nous to be able to do it. But anyway, long and short of it is, as a result of traveling at trans-warp speed, Tom Paris, initially we think he's de-evolving, but in fact the Doctor suggests he's evolving into the future of humanity, which turns out initially to be a humanoid who can't breathe our atmosphere, and later on becomes a lizard. And not only that, a very creepy lizard who abducts Janeway, so that Janeway also evolves into a lizard. And when they're discovered by the rest of the crew, I'm going to leave the physics out. I'm going to leave out the whole point that the shuttle can theoretically have gone anywhere in the entire universe, but it's still within range of Voyager. When they find them, yes, Janeway and Paris have had little lizard babies. And Janeway says to Paris as they're recovered by the Doctor, "Look, I've always thought about having children, but not with you." And then goes so far as to say, "Don't apologize, Tom. Who do we know, or how do we know it wasn't me that seduced you?" Now, there is a theme that runs through this episode, which is parallel with the episode Richard has chosen, which is that of humiliation. So circumstances that run beyond Tom's control, that he's evolved into a lizard and basically has babies with Janeway, leads to him being utterly mortified and going, well, how am I ever going to live this down? Now, when Richard speaks about his episode, he will no doubt remind us of Julian and his fantasy version of Jadzia, and how he is humiliated by what his fantasies laid bare might be. And it's just like that time when, someone finds your search history. So there you have it. It is the theme is humiliation through some contrived sci-fi plot. Voyager executes it perfectly, because no one can be more humiliated than Tom Paris is. The defense rests.
If you can make me big, Carl.
That's why they call me a miracle worker.
James, at Cornell University, they have an incredible piece of scientific equipment known as the tunneling electron microscope. Now, this microscope is so powerful that by firing electrons, you can actually see images of the atom, the infinitesimally minute building blocks of our universe. James, if we were using that microscope right now, I still could not be able to locate any interest in your episode. It was that awful.
Okay, let's compare it to your one then.
Right. So I made notes. I genuinely I sat down. I thought, right, I'm going to make some notes.
Hang on, this means you rewatched it.
I did. They're not extensive because I stopped making them. First of all, I wrote the date. And I wrote Wishes Were Horses. And I mistakenly put, a new short haircut for Major Kira. Yum. But no. And then the opening exchange I thought was very good in setting. Generally, I thought setting a precedent between Quark and Odo. They argue about fantasies and actually having desires, and why even sitting in my bar when you don't even drink or like women. You know, I'm here just so I can find a way to arrest you. And it very much did set that kind of chemistry between the two actors, which was good. We saw for the first time Julian, his woefully lame attempts at seducing Jadzia, and he properly gets friend zoned in this episode. And then we see Chief O'Brien reading a bedtime story to his daughter with basically what's a Kindle. I mean, it goes to show how advanced Star Trek was. And then my notes end.
Probably for the best.
Because it got really shit after that. They imagined themselves a disaster. They imagined themselves out of it. And at one point, we got to see Captain Sisko say to everybody, stop using your imagination.
Well, hang on, isn't that a rip-off of a TNG episode where No One Has Gone Before, where Picard says, you have to control your thoughts, what you're imagining is becoming reality. But he does it so much better.
In the corridor on fire and everything. Yeah.
Yes.
Put it out with your mind.
I mean,
but why is this episode better than the Threshold? I'll tell you why. Because
yes, please.
We got double Dax. We got Terry Farrell ×2.
Double Dax.
Fine-looking woman.
I don't think I can rebut that. I'm not even going to even try.
No. So cast your votes now. So the voting is open now. Any votes you've cast before are now defunct. If you would like, in this particular fight, you would like DS9 to win, please just type DS9. If you want Voyager to win, please type James at Cornell University. They have an incredible piece of scientific equipment known as an electron microscope. Now, this microscope is so powerful that by firing the electrons, you can actually see images of the atom, the infinitesimal and minute building blocks of our universe. And James, if you were using this microscope right now, I still wouldn't be able to locate any interest in your episode at all. Thank you for your call. So, two simple things there.
Or you could just say Richard or James. It's up to you.
Can I interject, please?
Go on, foreman of the jury.
If I'm so the premise is if we're stuck somewhere and this is the only episode we can ever watch, yes?
Double Dax.
Yeah, you've got to choose one. You can only keep one.
Okay. Can I keep the Voyager one? And I'll tell you why. Although the story, as James described it, is not thrilling, I'm assuming that I've got a device I can watch this on, yes?
Yes.
So if I watched it in reverse, it's the story of how a family of lizards loses 2 children, de-evolves into humans, and their fast spaceship gets slower and slower the more they de-evolve. And you know what? That sounds like a thrilling episode to watch in reverse.
I think we should pitch it to the producers of Strange New Worlds as a plot idea.
Do you know what? If the show was still continuing in its current form, how many episodes would be better in reverse order?
Anyway, let's see how the comments are going there. Let's see.
Well, the only 2 things I could add on to that were, so far, I think you gents have actually managed to find the 2 episodes across franchises that people are actually not willing to vote for either of you on. There's several of those comments. And also, I hate to say this, Richard, but whoever got a tattoo of your episode, whereas I believe there's an awful lot of tattoos about threshold lizards knocking around the globe.
If there are, I believe you, but I've not seen them myself.
Actually, I remember listening to the Delta Flyers podcast that Robert Duncan McNeil and Garrett Wang do. And I remember listening to their podcast about this episode, about Threshold. And they were saying on there the amount of like fan pics and emails, etc., that they've had of people that have had those threshold lizards tattooed to themselves. Why? Why?
Wait till the sequel episode where in Star Trek Legacy, the lizard babies come looking for mum and dad.
They were abandoned.
Yeah, Chakotay just in his log goes, "Oh, I've decided to leave the offspring in their new habitat."
How caring of you, Medman.
Chakotay, you won't often hear me say this, but you utter bastard.
Well, I think it's clear that yet again I've won. Better luck next time, James.
Clear at all, Richard.
Well, I think it's quite clear. What?
I can see 3 votes for me in sequence there. I can see 2 for you.
I've not seen a single vote for you, James. I stated quite clear that I had to put that at Cornell University there have been an incredible piece of scientific equipment known as an electron tunnel microscope. No one's put that. Yep, there's lots of votes for me going on there.
So yet again, I get defeated by a bent judge. Is that it?
Oh, hang on, James, hang on.
It's clear I've won. There's 3 votes for James. There's 5 votes for me. James,
yeah, but there's probably about 7 votes to say what the hell are both of you talking about.
I'm sure that you're a very good lawyer, James.
Actually, I've been invited back to the local university to judge another of their mooting competitions, so they do seem to think I know what I'm talking about.
Vote for me. Oh, is it the Roger Manwood you're chair for?
Trustee
for. I need to speak to you after the show.
Oh.
Yeah. I've won again.
Finest grammar school in the country.
Yes. I've won again. James, I think this is possibly the fairest we've ever had. Both these episodes.
It's the most awkward position you've ever put our viewing audience in.
I think these are 2 of the most awful. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, I think we might have drawn even with that one, according to my maths. But James, I know you've never won against me. I wouldn't feel bad because no one's ever won against me. You know, one of those things.
Even though it is your job, James.
Ask the steward I was at the concert with tonight, who tried to get me to move out of my seat to make way for a VIP. And my suggestion that he attempt to move me, and that would be entertaining. It's one of these things. It's not going to happen.
I'll tell you what I have found, though. Casting our mind back through some of the highlights of Let's Talk Trek over the years, I found a collectible. And Carl, you'll remember this because it's from the personal collection of René Auberjonois. It's this tin of anti-mold paint.
I was almost going to mention that earlier when Richard brought up Odo and Quark.
There it is. I'm sure I can find a certificate of authenticity to go with that. Brilliant.
I always keep it to hand.
How those flaming Watsits working out for you there, James?
You know, one day I'll get this authenticated and you'll all be laughing on the other side of the wormhole.
Welcome to our new podcast, What Crisp?
Which flavor makes this noise?
Which is the best Monster Munch?
Well, luckily, Megan, I mean, people like you make the show, but this is not the end of Let's Talk Trek. It's just the end of it in its current format.
Yes, Alan, I will gladly send you your
3 years late, but
and your tree.
Really wants that
you can buy one of these.
Doesn't Alan own the only Riker's bread pencil?
No, there's about 20 of them in circulation.
They're bloody rare.
I did look at having another batch made up, and I saw how much the cost of manufacture's gone up. I thought, no, this is ridiculous. We've got other things to build.
No more Riker's bread pencils.
Can you imagine if someone's accidentally sharpened their Riker's bread pencil out of existence?
Well,
they'll be
famous
gutted.
artist Kenneth Woodward. James Woodward, J.K. Woodward, owns a Riker's bread pencil, and I've twice when he does his online.
Oh, J.K. Woodward, yeah,
yes, twice I've seen him. He probably doesn't even remember because he was pissed. I've seen him post, and he's drawing with the Riker's bread pencil. He uses it, the Riker's bread pencil. He does. Genuinely uses
Do you
it.
realise that if he had no D's in his name, he'd be called J.K. Woo-Wah?
Well, just like Edward Boo Boo.
Yeah. Iwa Woo-Wah.
If Edward Woodward could chop wood, how much wood would Edward Woodward chop? And if Edward Woodward would chop wood, and Edward Woodward should chop wood, how much wood would Edward Woodward chop?
I'm not the pheasant plucker. I'm the pheasant plucker's son. I'm only plucking pheasants till the pheasant plucker comes.
Pass.
Still, there we go. Right. So I think that about runs us out of material for this evening.
Oh. Yes, we're past time. So we've discovered that, first of all, that I've once again beaten James. Hard cheese, but...
hard cheese, old chap.
Hard cheese, old chap. Dan's had a wonderful time at Winterfilm Comic Con. Carl has a wonderful piece of artwork. And sadly, this will be the end for weekly Let's Talk Trek. Let's Talk Trek is not the end of, however, it will no longer be in a weekly episodic format. I think we've yet to discuss it really, but I think in terms of kind of specials and things like that, a heartfelt thank you, first of all, as he was missing from the start of the show, Dan, for coming up for this in the first place during COVID and everything, but mostly to the people who've tuned in every week and suffered us, and very much as Carl said, very much as Carl said as well. You know, it's reaffirming our friendships as a foursome has been fantastic as well. It's been an honor, and it's it's been a very special time.
Could I just book in now as a special our annual best Christmas film ever watch along of Die Hard in December?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we have to vote for our best Christmas Trek film. James will come up with one. I'll come up with one. I'll win. We'll watch that.
And yeah, just speaking to you is free every week, and the fact that there's more people out there has been huge. Not just for other people, but also for myself. I've missed it, and I've missed you guys, and I've missed lots of it. But I love you all.
And on that bombshell,
please release me, let me go.
Let me go.
Or I don't love you anymore. I don't know the rest of the lyrics to that.
I wonder who plays in the reboot.
I'm counting on Brad Pitt from 20 years ago.
Gordon Ramsay, Gino DeCampo, Fred Siriax,
and Jeremy Clarkson.
Patrick Stewart will play Richard.
Or Sean McAvoy.
McAvoy or Stewart, it's so difficult to keep track.
I demand that my replacement is played by, or my new version is played by Tom Hiddleston.
Obviously, I'll be played by Cruz because he's completely off the wall.
I thought you were going to get Judge Rinder to do you. No mistake.
I'd quite like to be played by Gerard Depardieu.
Is he still alive?
Yes, of course he's alive.
Oh, but please, can we get Steve Guttenberg to play one of us?
Oh, look, Vicky, we have that already. It's called the Trekkie Girls, but they never turn up either.
Right. Shall we wrap it up?
For the last time, for now, look after yourselves and each other.
And don't have nightmares. Ah.